Hi, it's Don Southerton, and the weekly episode of Everything Korea Office Chat. As always, we like to get started with a little coffee. Uh, Incidentally, this mug, very cool looking ceramic mug made in Korea, was a gift from my friends at Invest Korea and Cultra in New York City as a Lunar New Year's gift. It's very much appreciated. Again, artisan crafted in Korea. Very cool that Korea has a very long history of porcelain technology. You can imagine it was sort of the crossroads between China porcelain and Japanese porcelain. So it developed its own unique history and technology. And today there's many artisans crafting this. They're gorgeous. They really are. So I'm going to sip some coffee. We'll go ahead and get started here. A couple of good topics this week. So this week's topic is author, writer, media. A friend once shared, "Don, you are the media." These kinds of words really resonated deeply as I was transitioning from academia back to the private sector. And I was continuing to write and post frequently on topics that I found interesting. Now, not to mention, I've found great enjoyment authoring multiple books over the past decade. Most of these books are a series on Korea and the workplace. Quite a few different versions and different ways I've looked at Korea over the years. But I've revised some more recently because events and things continue to change in Korea. And one of the reasons I like an ebook format is I can go back in and edit, update, continually to revise. And I did that recently. I think it was some point, like maybe a year and a half ago. I did it with Hyundai Way, Hyundai Speed, which is the book that looks deeply at the Hyundai Motor Group. I've also just more recently, because of all the COVID developments, the book I released in January 2020, which was Korea 220, the Korean Workplace in Transition. In August of last year, I revised it with a lot of the changes that I saw because of COVID in the workplace. So again, constantly writing, constantly updating, constantly sharing. But I do see myself as the media, which is like that, but not as more about providing commentary and insights versus reporting the news. I'll leave that to journalists. That's their job. Now, later on in my schooling as a cultural Korean historian and very actively engaged in the Korean business sector, such as the automotive, tech, market entry, I do try to add my thoughts, perspectives, and probably most important, the background and issues that surface. So instead of just sharing, this is what's happening, I always try to go a little deeper, give perspective, why things are the way they are today in Korea. Now, looking over just the past year, my posts have ranged from North Korea, the workplace under COVID, the Biden administration as a global driver for eco-friendly business, trends from the from CES 221, COVID-era food trends, Korean digitalization, and advances in golf tech, for example. Now, there's a link I'm going to embed in the copy with this YouTube, and that will actually send you to about 60 different or 70 different articles I've written. So it gives you a perspective, and if you're interested in drilling a little deeper, it's there. All said, I start each day staying current on what may and will impact your Korea-facing businesses. And in turn, when appropriate, share what I see as relevant and timely. And many of you know this because I'm always sort of pinging different things as they surface, and sometimes through the middle of the day, sometimes weekends, because these things can happen at any time. I'm always open to your questions and discussing issues of concern that surface. Oh, one more thing. I do have complimentary copies of both the Hyundai Way, Hyundai Speed publication, and more recently the Korea 220, which is also available. So you just ping me and I can get you PDF copies of those. Again, they're in PDF format because I continually go back in and revise, update, make the necessary additions when possible. So that's Don Southerton. Again, thank you for joining us with this office chat this week. And I look forward to more office chats. And until then, stay safe and take care.